Warakirri is the most experienced and certainly one of the largest and most diversified specialist agricultural investment managers with a successful 26-year track record. We were fortunate in the early 90s to be seeded our agricultural capability with 25 million from 2 domestic super funds. Over this successful 26-year period, we've slowly and organically built up our agricultural capability to around 3 billion in funds under management and commitments today. This agricultural investment capability is across 5 specific agricultural strategies in Australia. It spans most sectors, invests in most states of Australia, and currently sits at around 300,000 hectares across 62 individual aggregations. And we have a large network of employees, consultants, and advisors that help us execute for our clients. Our investment philosophy has been shaped by our experiences in successfully navigating and executing large-scale agricultural investments over a long period of time and through periods of good times and bad. These experiences of executing through periods of climate and market volatility has shaped the DNA of our organisation. Our holistic approach to sustainability is centred around 3 core pillars: around people and communities, enhancing productivity and sustainable returns, and being responsible stewards for the assets that we manage. We acknowledge that sustainability is critical to the success of our agricultural investments, a genuine commitment to the health and well-being of our people, contributing to resilient and vibrant local communities in which we invest, being responsible stewards of the assets that we manage, ultimately lead to higher and better risk-adjusted returns over the long term for our unit holders. Overall, the outlook for Australian agriculture is very positive. We see 3 broad trends that are not necessarily new trends, but these will continue to influence agricultural returns going forward. The rising demand thematic certainly will influence returns going forward. If you take coarse grains and global consumption as an example, in 1970, the world had about 3.6 billion people consuming roughly 1.1 billion tonnes. Today, global population is estimated at around 8 billion people, consuming about 2.7 billion tonnes of coarse grains. The annual additional demand profile globally is roughly 45 million tonnes. To put that in context, Australia produces around 40 million tonnes per annum. So the world needs roughly a new Australia every year to meet the rising demand for food, just in coarse grains. Consolidation is not a new trend, but is a very important one. And then sustainability is an emerging trend, and particularly agricultural's role in a decarbonised economy. In thinking about the consolidation trend, 20 years ago, Australia, there was 146,000 individual farm businesses. Today, 20 years later, we have roughly 85,000 farm businesses. During that same period, the value of Australian agricultural produce has doubled. So we have fewer farmers producing more. And it's quite nicely put that 10% of Australian farm businesses produce roughly 50% of the value and output. That's quite remarkable. 10% of Australian farmers produce 50% of the output, and 50% of Australian farmers produce roughly 10% of the output. Ultimately, larger scale, more sophisticated businesses that are more diverse, have a greater focus on sustainability and people, produce higher and better outcomes. Now, thinking about sustainability and decarbonised economy, this trend is not going away. And agriculture, as 15% of global emissions, has an important role in the decarbonised economy. Strategies well executed, well considered, with a very transparent framework around biodiversity and carbon do have the potential to contribute to positive returns and also positive environmental outcomes.